In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Jade for the comic pack line in the 30th anniversary collection. This was the second attempt from Hasbro that we got of Jade. The first being the Power of the Force action figure from the Expanding Universe wave. I still think that's a pretty good action figure, just from what I have seen of it. I do not have that action figure at this time, but once I do acquire it, which I hope to at some point, I think that's the last Jade I need to add to my collection of all the ones that Hasbro's made over the years. And then once I do finally acquire that action figure, I will be sure to do a complete Jade action figure collection video. So this action figure is okay. There's definitely a lot of room for improvement. The other counterpart that comes with this action figure in the comic pack is Luke Skywalker, who's basically in his X-Wing gear. From the waist down, he's in his X-Wing outfit, but then from the waist up, he's in the same t-shirt basically that he wears on Dagobah in The Empire Strikes Back. It's an okay Luke Skywalker. It's definitely not the best one that Hasbro's ever made. If I ever do find it for a decent price, whether it's in person or online or whatever, however the means I'll find it, I'll be sure to add it to my collection just so I can complete this comic pack. But I am happy this Jade's part of my collection. Like I said, there's a lot of room for improvement. And we'll touch on what that is here in a moment. But there is a lot of good elements about this action figure that I like. So the reason why I have two here, I'm pretty sure this one here on the right I actually got first. I got this for about $20 in free shipping on eBay back in 2017. And when I got it in hand, I thought, you know, I'm not 100% happy with the paint apps in the face there. As you can see, her right eye especially looks a little lopsided. It's a little sloppy in the paint. I never really liked how the hair was applied on the head here. There's definitely a lot of room for improvement in the head sculpt. Well, maybe not the sculpt itself, but at least the paint apps. So I thought, well, if I find another Jade at some point and the paint apps look pretty good on it, I'll be sure to go ahead and get a second one, which leads me to this action figure here with the hood on. About a year and a half later, towards the end of 2018, I found this one at my comic book store for about $20 loose. And I thought, well, that's not a bad deal at all, so I'll just go ahead and add the second one to my collection. And I'm glad I have two because it's nice to have the alternative with the one with the hood and then one without. But looking at these, I think the paint apps on the face here are a little bit better with the hooded version. I'm actually surprised, just kind of looking at them now, that why I would have the hood on this one when the paint apps seem like they're a little bit better. But you tell me in the comments which one you think's a little bit better. And the eyes look a little more crisper on this one. Well, we'll just leave it like that for now. But before we take a closer look at the action figures, since I don't have the Luke, I'll just bring the Luke out here real quick. That kind of looks similar. It's about as similar as it possibly can to the one that actually comes with her. But this is also a comic pack Luke. This is the one that comes with the Lumia action figure, which I do have reviewed on the channel. And it's a pretty good Luke Skywalker as well. But they look pretty good side by side. Similar era. This Luke here might be a little bit later. This Mara is based upon her appearance in the Heir to the Empire comic book. But let's just take a closer look at these two. So yeah, getting a closer look at that, you can see that the eyes definitely have a little work, or need a little work. I think the sculpt is there, they just need to do a little bit better with the paint. And the way the hair is applied, the hairline there definitely looks a little bit off. But it kind of looks like the hairs and the head here are all just one piece. I think on the Black Series 3 3/4 inch action figure, the hair sculpt and the head are two separate pieces. As for the rest of her outfit here, I don't think the colors are totally accurate on this action figure. I think she's supposed to have more of the black cat suit. And I'll bring out the Black Series 6-inch action figure of her in a little bit. And it's kind of a combination of this action figure and then the next 3 3/4-inch Mare Jade. I don't think she's supposed to really have a blue or an indigo colored outfit here. But regardless, it looks pretty good. So you can see she has some armor on her shins there and her knees. These straps around her shoulders there, around her biceps. She does have some gloves on, kind of look like utility gloves. She has the belt sculpted on, and then she has this extra belt and holster, which, quite frankly, to me, this holster looks very massive. It's not proportioned right to her at all. But when she's holding the pistol in hand, it's not too bad. She has a little bit of armor at just the other side of her ankle there. In terms of her articulation, she does technically have a ball joint in the neck there, but because of the sculpt of the hair, it's kind of a little restrictive. But you can get a little bit of movement out of it. I think she probably has a little bit of that draft neck as well, just to accommodate the hair. But there's some mobility there. She does have hinge at the shoulders, and she does have swivel elbows, and I think this is one instance where swivel elbows really doesn't work for this action figure. It's very loose on her, and I've never had it happen, but it feels like the elbow could pop out on her. And it's just a little loose, not very stable. I know I comment every now and then that swivel elbows are not that bad, but I think this is one action figure where it really didn't help it out. Hinge would have been a little bit better. But she does have swivel wrists, and swivel waist, and swivel hips, and hinge knees, and no ankle articulation. So at the time, this was an upgrade in the articulation department for Mare Jade compared to the Power of the Force action figure. But still definitely room for improvement. So in terms of her accessories, she pretty much comes with all her essentials. Of course, we have the hood here, which we see her wear during the Heir to the Empire series. Does have the goggles sculpted on there. And it's pretty good. Fits easy over her head and easy enough to take off. She does have the pistol here, which again is not really proportioned right to her, but the sculpt itself looks pretty good. And she does hold it well in her hand. Definitely her right hand, I think, is more accommodating for it. While her left hand here is a little more accommodating for the lightsaber. Take this one off. Kind of a clear blue blade. I think that's a unique hilt. I think you could take the blade out as well. Not sure. Doesn't seem like it. Yes, you can actually. This one's just a little bit stuck. Well, I'm not going to mess with that too much because I don't want that to potentially break off. But this is still during the era where the action figures had the removable blades. It is a little bit of a tight fit, so if you do plan to get this action figure, I would recommend being careful with that. But there's not a spot on her belt at all where you can plug in an unignited hilt. It's kind of a tight grip here, and the plastic is a little soft for the lightsaber hilt there. You can kind of get her in a drawing pose. It's probably about the best I can do. But I think that's pretty much all I can tell you about this action figure. As I said, I'll bring out a few more of the Mare Jades. Here's the more recent 3 3/4 inch figure of her. And as I mentioned, I do have this one reviewed on the channel. And despite the criticism, I am a huge fan of this action figure. I really like the hairstyle. I know a lot of people don't. But it's just a very nice looking action figure. But as you can see, it is, despite what people will say about it, I think it is still a significant upgrade compared to the 30th anniversary figure here. There are some significant differences. And then here's the Black Series action figure of her. Which, as I said, I think is kind of a combination of these two. Have the color scheme of this action figure here. And then have some of the traits of this action figure here. And we'll bring out Luke here. They all look pretty good together. I will just bring out this piece as well. Kind of see the significant differences in the... Yeah. It's a big difference. I think the sculpt and the paint apps turned out pretty good on this figure. But that's all I can really tell you about this 30th anniversary Mare Jade. Would I recommend it for your collection? If you're a big fan of Mare Jade, I would still recommend this. If you're only wanting one Mare Jade for your collection, I think this is the one to get. The Black Series one here. The 3 3/4 inch one or the 6 inch one. They're both good action figures. Like I said, there's a lot of good things about this, but there's definitely a lot of room for improvement as well. I'm glad she's a part of my collection. I'm a big fan of Mare Jade, so she's kind of a must-have for me. As I mentioned, I do hope to track down that Power of the Force figure at some point. And then I think I have all the Mare Jades that Hasbro's made, and I'll be sure to do a video featuring all of them together. As far as price is concerned, like I said, I only paid about $20 each for these, and I think the prices are still relatively around that range. If you buy the comic pack brand new, you might spend $40 or $50 for it, which, as far as the comic packs go, that's probably not too bad still. But overall, happy she's in my collection. And overall, she's an alright action figure. And anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for plenty more reviews in the future. There will always be more to come. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I always appreciate all your support. And check out some of the links in the description if you haven't done so already. Of course, as always, thanks for watching.